Hello, welcome back. Just so you know, this is still happening.
Okay. We're doing another stream today. It's pretty quiet. So we're just going to jump in to a stream. Feel like doing some more Risk of Rain. We did just finish a couple of runs before, but that's alright. Okay. Just checking everything's up and running. And away we go. Once in again. Easy little run. Command sacrifice. Ooh. Get ready. Okay, some early gold. We're almost hitting our 40 gold, same as we said last time. You know, that's what we're aiming for. Awesome. I'm not too sure what we'll pick up there. So I'm gonna have a think about it for a little bit first. Okay. How do we want to play this one? I think we will go with an on-hit. Last time we were going with like an anti-on-hit by going, you know, Purity. Purity's great. I really like those sort of strats on Mercenary, but you know, doing an anti-non-hit does take a little bit to set up. On-hit is just quicker, faster, easier. We do not need one of those. Our Nullbolt Sprite is what we want for now. So we're going to head on over. Grab the... oh, we got some actual elemental Will-O-Wisps this time. Grab the teleporter. And we have the Beetle Queen. A very easy boss to start off with. You do have to be cautious about getting one hit, but it's alright. You just need to stay in the right location at the back of the Beetle Queen. Keep in the air, and you will dodge most of the projectiles. If you do get hit, just activate some regeneration and hope that you go fine. Okay. Going good on greens so far. Going to get some generic, extremely common, all-rounder green items here. For Mercenary. So we have two on-hit items that scale extremely well. And we have the Warhorn since we have a Nullbolt Sprite. Nullbolt Sprites do not have much cooldown, so we can use the Warhorn quite frequently. And you use it for situations like this. You just want to kill a golem nice and quick and call that done. If there is 4 purities here, we will just morph our build. We've only picked up 3 items, so it won't take too much. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. We'll just go purity. it's fine. Considerably wasted damage that we could have had otherwise, but it's alright. We only really need 3. I like to take 4. And if we pick up another 2 green items, then we can just swap them over at a shredder. So we just look for the teleporter, nice and quick. We can do that very easily since we have very, very low cooldowns with the stacked purity. Now you can see here that we don't have much damage, but we do have some semi-vulnerability by staying in our R. We do blink out of it for a little fraction of time. So the types of damage we want are non-percentage chance-based ones, because you can see how many times we have pressed R and how many hits we're getting off, yet we have not even spawned a single missile yet. That is because the chances of getting a missile is about 1/1000th, if that's correct. Maybe even 1/10,000th, essentially. Okay, so consistent damage is taking a Splatter Spleen here, or a Genesis Loop. This would be good for regeneration, so I think we will just grab this at the start. But ones that you don't want there is the Molten Claw. That's an on-hit chance. And on-hit chances are just a waste on you in this style of build because of the purity. Purity reduces your luck, and the way the luck stat affects in this game is, for example, we have a 10% chance to get an effect from our ATG missile. With 1 purity, it goes from 10% to, if that succeeds, which is a 10% chance, it then rolls again to not succeed, which knocks it down by 10%. So you go from 10% to 1%. Then you go from 1% to 0.1%. Then 0.1% to 0.1%. So that's how, it might not be those exact calculations, but that is basically how luck works in Risk of Rain. And since we have 4 of them, I think that puts it at either 0.1%, which is 1/100th, but I think we're at 1/1000th. You can see here the yellow numbers coming out of him. We also have a slow effect on him for any of the monsters that we hit in a nearby radius. So it's a good way to get one of the attributes for Deathmark, which is what you would want to sum at the end of this build. Deathmark will be a very large amount of your damage. So our white items will be getting us up to 100% crit as fast as we can, and our green items will be spread around, things like Guillotine. Wither of the Wisp is a certain chance of explosion, so that's a good way to get fire. But you can also use gasoline. So we've activated the Warhorn, we're just getting more attacks in here. We didn't need it for regeneration at the start. And our next yellow item will be a Spider Spleen, quite similar to the stream we had earlier today. So crit is not very useful for us until we make it up to 100%, since we have the purity first. Having the purity second means that you can use the crit all the way up until it's in effect. But once you take the purity, your crit is not very useful. Okay, so for green items, we're going to grab a Chrono Bubble for a second effect of slow, and we can either take a Will-o'-the-Wisp or a Fire Renald's Band to get some damage down. I think we will just take Will-o'-Wisp, because the Renald's Band requires a considerable amount of damage to be done before the item will proc, and it should be able to... We don't have much damage to proc it, since we're doing very consistent amounts of small damage with our R. So an easy way to get fire is just kill an enemy, explode them, or say a Will-o'-the-Wisp. So we're just going to fly around, essentially, grab the combat shrines, get some money nice and quick, and go for the red chest, since red chests do spawn on a sacrifice run. Okay. We don't have much in the way of defensive items, but we can use our Warhorn here with the Gnarled Wood Sprite just to get rid of these basic Eldermarins a little bit quicker. Pseudo invulnerability with the 4 purities though, just spamming our mercenaries R. A very cheesy way to get past the early game of this game. Okay, so we're still aiming for about 2,200 coins first. And we will expand our explosion radius for now, and increase the duration of Warhorn. Definitely get some more crit. Okay, I'm gonna head down and check the price of the chest just to make sure it's about 2,200. So it's 1,900. We only need a little bit more. It's hard to calculate the cost of the chest when you can't purchase anything. But you sort of get used to how much things will cost based on the timer. So even though we have 3 crit glasses already, we still would only have a 0.03% chance of actually getting a crit. Currently, so we just need to finish up the rest of these crit glasses to get our 100% chance. We have enough for the chest, so we're just going to grab that now. And we want our 4th on-hit effect, so we'll grab a hammer. So between the urn slow, the chrono bubble slow, the fire damage from Wither the Wisp when it gets applied, and the armor shred on Shattered Hammer, that is the 4 effects required to activate Deathmark, which we haven't got yet, but we will. Our next red item that we'll be after is a bazooka, so that we can increase the splash damage of our R, so that when we're in it we can hit more than a very limited amount of units. So now we have about a 0.6% chance to proc crit. We are critting every now and then, we are hitting very quickly. And we're just looking for the teleporter, while getting as many white items as we can, because crit is very important to us right now. So we have a healthy unit here, we'll just activate our Gnarled Wood Sprite for our Warhammer attack speed, our Warhorn, that is, and we'll just continue through the cave. So for travelling across the ground, you want to have your M2 on the ground. If you're in air, you'll travel a lot slower, but you'll also gain height, so it's useful in its own instance. You don't want to deal with any of those bells, and I must have missed the teleporter out here, because it is not in the cave. It's up the top. And we have a mountain shrine right next to it. Very nice. Okay, activating our Gnarled Wood Sprite straight away, and just starting with our R damage. So you can see how much that tick damage of the 2 Will-o'-the-Wisps was. That's the primary reason to have Will-o'-wisp over Gasoline. Will-o'-wisp does a lot more damage, but it is a green item over a white item, so that is expected. Okay, so that's the bosses dealt with, and now we just work with all of the other mobs, which will go down very quickly because of the Will-o'-the-Wisps. The closer enemies are, the more likely they are to die. So our second yellow item was a Splatter Spleen, so that each time we crit we bleed, giving us another item effect, and we definitely have enough item effects to start proccing our Deathmark. And we will start ramping our Deathmark's damage. So now we have 100% crit, and our bleed stacks will go up considerably. We don't need much regen because of the Mayadern. So we will get some Harvester Scythes eventually. But for now, we are doing alright in that field. Okay. Same as normal, just travel throughout the level, find the teleporter, realign the teleporter, see if you can spot any mountain shrines around. So we can only see one mountain shrine so far. Yep, it's just the one mountain shrine. Okay. So now you can see that we have a lot more damage with the addition of a 100% crit. We'll go for another way to proc fire damage. Even though we're already instantly doing our death mark, we want ways. We are proccing our death mark with our crits and our bleed stacks, and we want ways for any outer effects. If we do launch any projectiles, things like sticky bombs and stuff like that, which we won't be proccing into, but we want even our gasolines or our will-o'-the-wisps to be proccing death mark if we can. So we want as many ways of applying on-hit effects, just to increase our chances of that. And now we're going to start getting some mobility. We should be getting some defenses, because as you can see, we do take a lot of damage. And we'll activate our Gnarled Wood Sprite and just start pressing R. Okay, so now we need ways to better kill our enemies, and a guillotine is a good way to do that. And as well, the Renards and the Carabands is also useful, because we're starting to deal enough damage to actually proc the Renards and the Caraband. So there you go, you can see when we explode a will-o'-the-wisp, our bands will proc. Okay, so we will get a Harvester Scythe now. Clear out some last mobs and head through the teleporter. So some green items we will want to be stacking is attack speed. So predatory instincts, every time we crit we'll get attack speed. We have a 100% chance of crit. Spawn some enemies. Grab a Predatory Instinct. Very lucky for our invulnerability there, because we took some damage and we weren't able to regenerate after that. So, Mercenaries R-frames already coming into great effect, if they weren't already. Straight to the teleporter, there is no chest on this level. And straight up to the bosses. Okay, so our next lot of damage will come from a second Spider Spleen for more explosion damage and another Death Mark. So now it's very prominent that you guys recently saw there with those Blazing Lemurians. We're taking a lot of damage. So we want to reduce that. Or reduce the percentage of damage, so stacking some health makes us a little bit more tanky. But the easier way to reduce damage is some teddy bears. An easy way to reduce fire damage is repulsion armor plate, because it will reduce a flat amount of damage off each burn tick, which is extremely good. And a Topaz Shield to start adding barrier health each time we kill an enemy. Because barriers have their own one-shot protection shield, which means if we have a barrier up above, I think it's 30%, we will it will take at least 3 hits to kill us. 1 to break our barrier, 1 to break our barrier shield, and 1 to break our red health. So now the difficulty is scaling and we're getting some boss units as pre-spawns. That's alright. Just using them for XP currently. And straight to the next teleporter. So as you guys might have seen there, when the Clear Dune Strider exploded and procced our Renard's Kara's band, combined with the amount of damage that Deathmark is amplifying that, they quite easily exploded. Grab some more defense. Easy, and we will grab some more damage. Okay, so it's easy to see that our Deathmark and our Will of Bullets combined is causing some extremely dangerous explosions. We don't need too many more Will-o'-the-Wisps, but our range will increase as we get them. So once we start getting more and more units around us, we will want to start upgrading that. Just for the range bonus. So what we want to do is we want to leave that guy down on low health. He will bring enemy units towards him, makes it easy for us, and then we can come in here and remove them. Okay, a lot of items are beginning to drop now, which is good. Grab some more dodge chance. Some larger explosion radius. Second jump. And some more barrier health. So as you start getting max health, your barrier health only goes up by a flat rate per kill. So you can see how we've killed a couple enemies there, but we still have no barrier health on our bar, it's already gone. And that's because our barrier health is depleting so quickly. So we need to do one of two things. Kill enemies faster, or get a high amount of barrier health per unit. So we're just going to get some more Topaz Shields as our next couple of wild items. Because our damage is up there. It only takes 2 hours to remove a golem, and anything in the radius of something that did die instantly dies. So we're not worried about our damage for now. Our AoE is good. Okay. Grab some more execute damage essentially with the guillotine and some faster R hit rate, which is more bleeds, more regeneration. Attack speed is really good for us. So now you can see each time we kill a unit, we're getting a fair amount of yellow health. Now we can actually start getting it somewhere so that it will protect us. Combining a larger pool of health with a larger amount of tougher times for resistance, for dodge rate, sorry, it's not exactly a multiplicative effect, it's just the more you have one, the more you have of either increases both of them, if that helps. So if you have a lot of health, you have more time while that health drains out to dodge things. The more you dodge, the more time you have to regenerate your health with the Topaz Shield. So our next red item that we'll grab from the chest on this map is a bazooka for more AoE. So as we can see, our explosions are starting to chain together because they have enough damage to kill a unit, which explodes a unit, to kill a unit, etc. So now we have a large pool of health with our barrier, and now we just need more dodge chance. We'll stop at 10 for now, and we'll grab some more attack speed. Jump over to our red chest, which we can easily afford, and increase our splash range. Find the teleporter, and we'll head off. So now our explosions are a lot bigger, and our damage is considerably higher. So this guy would even die to just bleed effects if we left him. And a good thing about him being a scavenger boss is he will leave a bag behind for being a scavenger, which will give us a lot of items. Okay, so we're grabbing our shield, increasing our splash. This bell is doing a lot of damage to us, we'll just remove him. Increase dodge. Increase damage. So now we can see that our splash range is quite high, but our damage is a little bit full. 1R doesn't kill a unit yet, which is what we're after, so we're going to win some more death marks until that happens. So from up here we can see some Celestine units. Can't see the teleporter yet. There's a mountain shrine. So we can see the teleporter now. Just going to remove this Void Reaver. No other last minute mountain shrines that we can see. And to the teleporter. Realign. And start. And the overloading worm spawned on top of us. So that's extremely unfortunate.